This month was kind of interesting. As I've been playing through games this month, I realized that I played more horror-themed games in November than I did for the entirety of October. It's a little backwards, but that's pretty much on brand for how my gaming goes. I did continue to have a bit of a Spider-Man themed month, both in terms of playing and in terms of content released for the channel. That will probably taper off in following months, at least until the DLC for Spider-Man 2 drops, but who knows how long that will be. The breakdown of my month wound up being very Spider-Man heavy in terms of videos I made for the channel, while my actual game playing was more diverse. So let's take a look at what I've been playing in November 2023. Sadly, I didn't get any games finished up completely in November. This was again more of a setup month for me. I finished the story in 2 games, but do have a few trophies left unfinished that I hope to get to in either next month or one of the following months. So no completed games this month. In terms of story games, I wound up starting 2 new games while also playing some games that have been on my list for quite some time. The first of these is Spider-Man 2. I started Spider-Man 2 when it was released last month, but didn't finish the story until early November. I also played around in the game a bit for collecting trophies that I could get pretty easily. I only need 1 more trophy to get the platinum in the game, but it requires stealth takedowns from a web line, and it's hard to get once you actually beat the game because a lot of the crimes and a lot of the things you can't redo, and there's no real good places to get stealth takedowns from the web line in what's available. In terms of the game as a whole, I really enjoyed my time with Spider-Man 2. I did release a review for the game this month, so if you want to check it out, I will have a link at the top of the video here and down in the description. I am hoping to get this game completed in the near future. I was maybe going to wait until New Game Plus was released to get the trophy a little easier, but we'll see if I wait that long or not. It probably depends on if I hear anything about that kind of update coming in December or not. The second story game is Final Fantasy III Pixel Remaster. While I didn't get quite as far into Final Fantasy III this month as I was planning, I did play it some over the course of the month. As I've said previous months, I haven't been able to really get into this game as much as I maybe would have liked to. This has made it kind of languish on my list for a number of months. Now that I'm past Spider-Man though, I think I'm going to focus a lot more on Final Fantasy in December. I have received power from 3 of the 4 crystals in the game, but I'm not sure how much game is still left after that. It seems like it would be fairly well along, but it's kind of unclear. And this, as I said, is my first time playing through Final Fantasy III, so I don't really have any way of knowing where I am in the game. But I do know that I really need to just buckle down and focus on this game moving forward so that I can get past it, move on to another Final Fantasy game, and I know that I enjoyed Final Fantasy IV a lot more, so I'm hoping that I can just get through this one. Third story game is Stardew Valley. Now, I only played Stardew Valley Expanded once this month. This means that I didn't make a lot of progress in the game, of course. I am still in spring of year 2, and even though I only played 2 days in game, I was able to max out 2 skills during my time. I was able to max out my farming and mining skills, so that only leaves combat and fishing that I still need to get maxed out. I am also waiting for a rainy day so that I can buy a mermaid pendant and marry Sophia. Now, Stardew Valley's been on this list a lot, and you should all know by now that I really enjoy it. It will probably at some point move to the endless game list. I'm just mainly wanting to get through the first 3 years in my playthrough here, where you kind of get your review and everything, and then I might move it over more to an endless game, because I think at that point, like, you could make the argument for after 100% completion, but I don't feel like there's a lot of story parts that really kind of come in due to that, so I'm going to kind of at that point probably move it over. The fourth story game is Zombie. Now, this was one of the 2 horror-themed games I added new this month. Zombie is a port of the Wii U game Zombie U. It was also a game I spent a good amount of time with during the month. You may think that this was because I really enjoyed it, but that's not really the case. I didn't mind it, but it's definitely not that good of a game. I think I played this so much because I was trying to work through the hardest mode and wanted to keep consistent on playing it so that I knew where I was and didn't forget what I had to do next. I did wind up getting through the story in this game, but sadly I have to play through it a couple more times to get the last couple of trophies for the game. It's basically a first-person survival horror game set in England, where you do typical zombie apocalypse survivor stuff. Find supplies, maybe find a cure, find new weapons, and try not to die. It's not terrible, but it feels pretty slow-paced and generic in a lot of ways, beyond a somewhat unique setting. I am planning on putting out a review in December for this game to give a few more of my thoughts, so keep an eye out for that if you're interested. And the last story game of November was The Upturned. This was my second horror-themed game this month. The Upturned is a strange kind of game. It's a 3D platformer filled with a tense atmosphere, jump scares, and an odd sense of humor. It's a very strange mix, and I've found it to be enjoyable overall so far. I haven't finished this one yet, but I imagine that I'll probably be able to get through it before the end of the year. Moving on from story games, I'll be focusing on games that I call endless games. These are games that don't have clear-cut endings. They can be online PvP, arcade, sandbox, creative, simulation, or party games. Some of these are games I enjoy quite a bit and keep playing off and on, while others are ones that I play for a season and then move on from. There are also games that we'll play as a family off and on depending on the month. So the first one of these is, as usual, Fortnite. So the big news with Fortnite has been the OG season or intermission or whatever it exactly is. It was 1 month of going back through the first chapter of Fortnite, and it even had its own battle pass. Now, I know that a lot of people seem to enjoy this nostalgia fest, but I don't personally get why it's been so exciting for people. I say that as someone who started playing Fortnite in what is now known as Chapter 1, Season 3. In part, I think it's because I'm not the most nostalgic of people, or I at least try to keep my nostalgia in check. I had good memories of playing Fortnite in Chapter 1, but I also had good memories in the other chapters as well. So while I don't mind going back and reliving some of Chapter 1's locations and weapons, as someone who has already been playing consistently, it is just okay to me. One thing that was amazing this season were the skins for the Battle Pass. Spectre Knight, Little Split, Renegade Lynx, and Omega Rock are all amazing and a great collection of skins that remix the past in fun ways. I'm guessing that by the time I release this video, the big event will have happened and will be in a new season, and personally I'm looking forward to seeing where we go in Chapter 5, Season 1. Second endless game is Bloons TD6. I played a decent amount of Bloons TD6 this month. We played a number of times in cooperative as a family, and we also played a good amount of contested territories this month. I even played a few stages on my own. It's rarely a huge part of my gaming, but it's fun to come to a few times a month. Third game is Marvel Snap. Now, I continue to really enjoy Marvel Snap and play it regularly. Last month, I had an amazing month of getting new cards to add to my collection. This month wasn't quite as good. I did still gain 3 cards over the month though: Miss Marvel, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and X-23. Even though it wasn't quite as good as last month, I was still very happy with this. I was also able to gain a good number of variants as well, which is always fun as well. Now, despite my enjoyment this month, I've been stuck in the 70s for a lot of the season and just haven't been able to push any higher than that. Unless I make a big push near the end of the season, I don't know if I'll wind up getting much higher. Fourth endless game is Jackbox Party Pack 4. As usual, we did play a Jackbox Party Pack one night this month. We played the 4th entry in the series. It has survived the internet, which is probably our favorite game of that bunch. We also enjoy Fibbage 3, Bracketeering, and Civic Doodle. Really, the least favorite is Monster Seeking Monster, but it is interesting if you're looking for something a little different. The 5th endless game is Terraria. Due to Thanksgiving break, the kids and I were able to play some Terraria together. We're continuing to hunt down all the armors for that achievement and trophy that you can get for that, and I feel like we're getting fairly close to the end of that project. It will probably still take more time than we really want it to get a few of the remaining pieces farmed, but the end is in sight. Then our plan is to try to collect all the pets needed for the trophy, which could be quite a bit more time before that happens, as I think some of the pets are rather difficult to get. At number 6, I have Overwatch 2. Now, I played some Overwatch 2 with my son this month and had a good time doing so. Now, despite not enjoying some of the choices that were made about forcing Overwatch to become Overwatch 2 and the way they redid monetization in the game, it is still a fun experience. I don't think it will ever become a game that I invest a lot of time or money into, but it is a fun game to play a few times a month and enjoy. And the last endless game for November was Moving Out. We played this game once right near the end of the month. Moving Out is a crazy cooperative game about playing as movers who are either removing or bringing in items to houses or buildings. Now, I don't feel like we're really that good at this game, and it can be a little frustrating at times, but if you don't take it too seriously, it can be quite a bit of goofy fun as you're, tossing things out of windows or jumping out of windows yourselves. Like, it's just kind of a crazy game you can't take too seriously, but also is timed and has some features to it that makes you take it a little bit more seriously. So it's kind of a weird mix, but we enjoy it. I did not have any games for the trophy category this month. While I have earned some trophies from a number of different games over the month, there weren't any that I just played for trophies. And I feel like this category has been neglected lately. I either have games that would have been here, but I complete them like I did last month with the 2 earlier Spider-Man games, or I just don't have the time to play extra games to chase after trophies like this month. Hopefully this will change in the future, although I imagine that like if I play Spider-Man 2 this next month, like I just need the 1 trophy. If I get it, it's going to go to the completed. So I know that one. Zombie may still be on this list by next month because I don't know if I'll play through the game again 2 more times before the end of December. It's not a good enough game to probably do that. So I wouldn't be surprised if Zombies here next month, but there is nothing for November. And that's what I've been playing in November. It felt like a pretty varied month overall to me. I'm coming out of my Spider-Man focus of the last few months and will probably be seeing a wider variety of games in the future. Of course, next month is also Christmas, which makes life busy and hectic, so we'll see how many games I actually get to next month, whether there's a little bit more variety or if it winds up being a very short list because I'm busy doing other things. It always tends to be that I hope to play a few more things than I actually get to, so guess we'll just have to wait and see. How about you? What have you been playing in November? Have you picked up any new releases over the month? Been playing old favorites? Removing older games from your own backlogs? Let me know in the comments, as it's always fun to see what others are playing and if those games are ones I'd like to add to my own backlog. Hope everyone had a great month and that you've been playing games that you enjoy. That's all for this month, so I'll see you in the next video.